Did you know that over 90% of transmission problems come from just one part? Welcome back to Globally Cars. Today, I'm going to talk about the 10 signs that your transmission shift solenoid might be going bad. But first, what is a shift solenoid? It's a small part in your car that acts like a valve, controlling how transmission fluid moves around. This fluid is very important because it helps your car change gears smoothly. In an automatic car, the shift solenoid gets signals from a computer called the transmission control unit. This computer uses information from your car's sensors to figure out the right time to shift gears. No matter if your car has a manual, automatic, or continuously variable transmission, CVT, the shift solenoid has an important job. It's usually located inside the transmission control unit or in a part called the valve body. Now that you know what it does, let's go over the 10 signs that your shift solenoid might be failing. Symptoms. Number 1. Delayed gear shifts. When a transmission shift solenoid starts to fail, you might notice that your car takes longer to change gears. This happens because the solenoid isn't sending the right signal at the right time to switch gears. The solenoid controls how transmission fluid moves, and this fluid is needed to shift gears properly. If the solenoid isn't working right, the fluid might not get where it needs to go fast enough, causing a delay or hesitation when your car tries to shift. This delay can make your driving feel less smooth, especially when you need to speed up quickly or keep a steady pace. If the fluid flow keeps getting interrupted, it can cause parts inside the transmission to wear out faster. Over time, this can lead to more serious problems and lower your vehicle's performance. Symptoms. Number 2. Stuck in gear. If your car won't change gears, a bad shift solenoid could be the reason. This happens when the solenoid can't properly control the flow of transmission fluid, which is needed for gear changes. As a result, the transmission might get stuck in first or second gear and won't shift up or down. This problem is especially serious in automatic cars, where smooth gear shifting is very important. When your vehicle can't shift properly, the engine has to work harder than it should. This can lead to overheating and extra wear on the transmission parts over time. Symptoms. Number 3. Erratic shifting. If your car changes gears in a sudden or random way, it can make the ride feel rough or jerky. This often happens when the shift solenoid isn't working properly. The solenoid controls how transmission fluid flows, and when it fails, it might send the wrong signals. This can cause the transmission to shift gears at the wrong times. When the fluid doesn't flow the way it should, the transmission doesn't work smoothly. Over time, this can put extra strain on the parts inside, causing them to wear out faster and not last as long. Symptoms. Number 4. Transmission warning light. This is a major sign that something isn't right within the transmission system. When the warning light on your dashboard turns on, it often points to a problem with the transmission shift solenoid. If the solenoid isn't functioning correctly, the vehicle's system picks up on the issue and activates the warning light. This is your car's way of letting you know there could be a serious transmission-related problem that requires attention. A malfunctioning solenoid can lead to unstable fluid pressure, which in turn can create several issues within the transmission system. Symptoms. Number 5. Slipping gears. The 5th sign shows up when your car unexpectedly shifts gears or can't stay in the proper gear. This kind of issue can be quite concerning, as it directly affects both how your car performs and how safe it is to drive. The shift solenoid is responsible for managing the flow of transmission fluid that activates the gears. When the solenoid fails, the fluid doesn't move properly, which can cause the transmission to slip in and out of gear. This results in a loss of power and makes the vehicle harder to control, especially during normal driving. On highways, this can be particularly dangerous, as sudden gear slips may lead to reduced speed and control. To solve the problem, it's important to locate the faulty solenoid and replace it as soon as possible to avoid further damage or safety risks. Symptoms. Number 6. strange noises ever heard. Unusual sounds, such as grinding, clunking, or whining during gear shifts, can be a warning sign of trouble with the transmission shift solenoid. These noises often indicate that something isn't working as it should within the transmission system. The shift solenoid is in charge of directing the flow of transmission fluid, which is essential for smooth and proper gear engagement. If the solenoid begins to fail, the fluid may not move through the system the right way, causing the gears to engage incorrectly or with difficulty. This improper gear movement can lead to those odd sounds you hear while driving. Such noises are a strong indicator that there's an internal problem in the transmission system. To get rid of these noises and avoid further damage, it's necessary to pinpoint the defective solenoid and replace it as soon as possible. Symptoms number 7. Unusual vehicle behavior. If your car jerks or hesitates when you press the gas pedal, a failing shift solenoid could be the reason. It's almost as if the vehicle doesn't know how to respond properly. This hesitation occurs because the solenoid isn't regulating the transmission fluid flow correctly or at the right moment. As a result, the transmission has trouble locking into the right gear, which causes your car to struggle when accelerating. Symptoms number 8. Limp mode activation. When your vehicle senses a serious issue, it may purposely reduce its performance to prevent additional damage. This built-in safety function is designed to help you drive to a safe location by limiting what the car can do, similar to putting it into a protective or emergency mode. This condition is known as limp mode, where the car restricts engine power and keeps the transmission stuck in a low gear. Limp mode is often triggered when there's a fault with the transmission shift solenoid. If the solenoid isn't working properly, the vehicle's computer recognizes the problem and activates this mode to protect the transmission from further harm. In this state, your vehicle won't be able to reach high speeds, which helps avoid additional stress or damage to the system. Symptoms number 9. Poor fuel economy. The 9th sign that your transmission shift solenoid may be faulty is a drop in fuel efficiency. When the solenoid isn't working properly, it messes up the flow of transmission fluid, leading to rough or incorrect gear changes. Because of this, the engine has to work harder than normal, which burns more fuel. You might notice that you're filling up the gas tank more often and that your miles per gallon, MPG, is going down. This is because the engine isn't staying in the best RPM range due to the gears not shifting right. To fix the fuel economy issue, you'll need to repair or replace the faulty solenoid so your transmission can work correctly again. Symptoms number 10. Burning smell. If you smell something strange coming from your vehicle, it could be a serious warning, often related to a bad transmission shift solenoid. This kind of smell usually means the transmission fluid is getting too hot. When the solenoid isn't working right, it can mess up the flow of fluid, causing too much friction and heat inside the transmission. This heat can make the fluid smell like it's burning, which is a sign that the transmission parts are under a lot of stress. If the transmission keeps overheating, it can cause major damage and shorten its life. So, if you notice a burning smell, make sure to check the solenoid and the transmission fluid levels right away. That wraps up the signs of a faulty transmission shift solenoid. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more car care tips. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.